Hello and welcome to Only Connect. I've had a very nice letter from Helen Moore in Gateshead. She writes, "Dear Victoria, love the show. I mainly like how all the contestants are so clever, but at the same time quite normal and understated. Mind you, so was Walter White in Breaking Bad, and he sold meth and ended up killing over 200 people. Let's meet the teams. On my right, Jonathan Taylor, a retired civil servant with 2 cats called Cleopatra and Gilgamesh. Joshua Mutio, an economics PhD student whose favourite animal is an owl. And their captain, Jonathan Williams, a musician who insists on having his volume set at multiples of 5. United by studying together at Birkbeck University of London, specialist provider of evening higher education. They are the Strigiforms. Jonathan, I remember in your last match you had a lovely question about The Wind in the Willows. Can you easily think of a book intended for adults that's better than The Wind in the Willows?
No, I can't. It's possibly the best one ever written.
Is the only reason, really, to make people read books when they're children, because those are the best ones?
Totally.
It's all downhill after that. You are facing this evening on my left. Catherine Peppard, a librarian who fractured her elbow in Florence while trying to photobomb her partner. Sarah Besley-Quick, a classics teacher who's been learning Italian for 960 days. And their captain, Andrew Guyford, a maths teacher who performed as a dancer at the Royal Albert Hall and Infernos in Clapham on the same weekend. United by devotion to Discworld, they are the Morporkians. Andrew, I feel like your team has been in an enormous number of episodes.
It feels like it.
You've taken the scenic route and you've arrived at the semi-final. Congratulations. How do you feel about getting this far?
We're dreading and equally looking forward to the horrors that are to come.
That is exactly the right spirit for what lies ahead. You've won the toss, so that was a good start. You've elected to put your opponents in first. They are visiting horrors on you, Strigiforms. Please choose an Egyptian hieroglyph.
2 reads, please.
2 reads will be the first question of the semi-final. What is the connection between these clues? Here's the first.
I'll probably spaghetti or covered with cheese. Yeah. Lots of meatball when somebody sees a song, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Next, please. What's the next show, do you know?
I don't know that one.
Next, please. OK, that's some Guys and Dolls. She talks about being ill.
Oh, is that one where she's got a cold?
She's got a cold, yeah. Oh, maybe they won. Next, please.
Yes, when somebody sneezed.
Yeah, cocaine. He sneezes and blows all the cocaine all over the place.
Sneezing.
The answer is sneezing. What can you tell me about these clues?
So Adelaide's Lament is a song from Guys and Dolls where she complains about having the flu.
Yes, what it is, Adelaide, in the greatest musical of all time, thinks she will keep sneezing until she gets married.
And Pinocchio, he sneezed a lot inside when he was inside Monstro.
Well, I think it was a deliberate idea. They get trapped inside a whale and they think they'll escape if they can make the whale sneeze.
OK.
So I think he gathers wooden things to make a fire, although he's made of wood himself, so you would think that'll be unwise. And they get out by making the whale sneeze.
The spaghetti one is a song.
Yeah, he loses his meatball when somebody sneezes in the song.
Quite right. And just to help refresh your memories on that song, I've got some lyrics here. There you go. You just hand it out to your team. There you are. Some for you too. Don't feel left out. You know this song?
No.
Yes.
On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese, I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. It rolled off the table, it rolled on the floor, and then my poor meatball rolled out of the door. Lovely, but that message of doom doesn't apply to this game because we're off the blocks. You've got a point. Very well done. Morporkians, what would you like?
Eye of Horus, please.
The Eye of Horus. What would connect these clues? Here's the first.
Next, please.
14. Is this going to be something word related with the number?
So is it said a certain number of times?
Next, please.
With the tap or...
Next, please.
Sinful.
few seconds.
No, we've got nothing.
I don't blame you, I must say. Strigiforms, do you have any idea?
The words are a definition, and the first number is the number of letters in a word, and then it's repeated twice.
That's not it either. The times 2 means that there are 2 words that can be defined by what comes above, and they use the same letters. 4-letter words to begin with, a musical sound, note and tone. In a fury, enraged, angered. Quick light touch,
Anagram.
pat, tap. And morally repugnant, what do you think?
Vile and evil.
I don't blame you for saying that. And indeed, coincidentally, those are the words we're looking for. What would you like for your next question?
Lion, please.
Lion. What would be the connection between these clues? Here's the first.
Oh, so 4th letter of I. Next, please. Reader. 2 R.
Is that a timestamp, do you think? Like as in 2 hours or 2 minutes?
Next,
4
please.
seconds.
Rene.
Ready, read.
So it's
There are clocks in these works of art by
Yeah.
these people of that number.
Oh, brilliant. Yes, you're right. Yes, OK. There are clocks in works of art by these artists set at this time.
Very well done indeed. You didn't even need the last clue. What do you think it would have been?
Dali.
Dali. It's 6:55.
Okay.
Dali, 6:55. That's the famous one, The Persistence of Memory. But all of these artists created works with clocks in, showing those times. More Porkins, what would you like?
Water, please.
Water. It's a music question. You'll be hearing your clues. What do they have in common? Here's the first.
Next, please.
These aren't the originals, though. Or, like, no.
Next, please.
They've been... Have they all been sampled by Eminem?
That's Eminem,
They've
yeah.
all been sampled.
Yes, they
I
have.
think.
Yep.
Yeah, try
Yes,
that.
it is.
We think they've all been sampled by Eminem.
Very well done. You also get bonus points for coming in early. And what do you think would have been at clue 4?
Dido?
Dido, thank you. You would have heard at clue 4, but you didn't need it. Excellent quizzing. Back to you, Strigiforms. What's it to be?
Twisted Flax, please.
Twisted Flax. These are going to be picture clues. What do they have in common? Here's the first.
That's the girl with the dragon tattoo. isn't
Yeah,
it?
the remake.
In 2012.
2012. Next, please. That's Warhorse. Next, please.
Oh, is that Jojo Rabbit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that the year of the novel?
Probably. Yes.
Is Warhorse a novel?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I think that must be year of the novel.
Yeah. Should we go
Yeah.
for one? Should
Give
we-
it a go.
The year is the year of publication of the novel, which the picture is the film of.
That is not a connection that I need to hear. More Porkins, I'm going to show you the 4th clue. Do you want to have a go for a bonus point?
The date is when the book was released, or the play, the image is the film. I'm wondering if they've also been released under a different language as well in that format.
That's not it.
Okay.
The year means a year that's represented in the Chinese zodiac. So, the still is from the girl with the dragon tattoo. We're looking at Warhorse, Jojo Rabbit,
Okay.
and the last one,
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Tiger.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So actually the year is nothing to do with the publication of the book or the film. It's the Chinese zodiac years. One question remains for you, more Porkins, the Horned Viper. What do these clues have in common? Here's the first.
Okay, so it's
Next,
name,
please.
dash,
So he came up with the vaccine, he invented it.
So is it people who are credited with an invention but didn't actually invent it?
We go for more. Next,
take
please.
one
Possibly. I mean, it's too simple to say that they...
Let's go on. Next, please.
I mean, it's too simple to say that they're credited with the inventions. isn't it?
I mean, we've got to say it. Say
Yeah.
credited with.
Okay. We think the person at the bottom is credited with the invention at the top.
For a place in the final, I need a very specific answer.
Incorrect.
Incorrectly credited?
Not it, I'm afraid. So bonus chance for you, Strigiforms.
The people at the bottom gave up their rights to their property rights over the things above.
That's exactly what it is. So they did invent them, but they didn't patent them, they didn't profit from them. They were, as it were, altruistic inventions in the minds of the inventors. I mean, Kalashnikov was always a patriotic thing to do. But what, the question is, if we're not going to say altruism, is worse, the Kalashnikov or the internet? I mean, what's caused more human damage, would you say?
Well, quite.
And the polio vaccine, that was Jonas Salk, gave it to the world, and the 3-point safety belt. Bolin was working at Volvo, but they just wanted the world to have these things for free. That means at the end of round 1, the Morporkians have 2 points, the Strigiforms have 4. Round 2 now, what comes forth in a sequence, of course? Strigiforms, you'll be going first again. What would you like?
Water, please.
Water. What would come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
I don't know.
Next, please.
Well,
So it's a date thing, isn't it?
What's the date of those beers? And what is the date of
It's
that?
what says here? 1666, is it?
Can't
Next, please.
Yeah, could be.
Oh,
Yes.
1666, right. So
Yes.
1566, 1466, did you remember?
What year do you think Great Plague is?
It's 1666.
65. It's 500.
Yeah. No, it's all 16. The next one is 1667.
2 seconds.
Which is...
The Dutch came up the Thames in 1667, I believe.
I'm afraid I can't accept that answer. Morporkians, another bonus chance.
Yeah, go for it.
Great Fire of London?
Would be an acceptable answer. The Theatre Royal, Drury Lane, opened in 1663, still open, the oldest theatre in London. Cronenberg Brewery, 1664, you'd see it in the adverts, you know, it would be scrawled there. The Great Plague, 65, Great Fire of London, 66. I must say, though, Jonathan, who isn't the captain, brilliant to come up with something that happened in 1667. The Dutch invasion up the Thames was that year. It's not the year we were looking for, but your historical knowledge is very good. Unlucky. So you get that bonus, Morporkians, and your own choice. What's it to be?
Lion, please.
Lion. This is going to be a series of picture clues. What would you expect to see at the 4th picture? Here you go.
Digital form
Next,
is
please.
green.
It's not before. Is it letter? How many letters they're made up of, or how many lines they're made up of? So 4 is made up of 4. Those ones are all made up of 5. So we want something that's made up of 7 digits, which would be an 8. But no, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, an 8. An 8 in green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet on it.
Okay. We think it's going to be an 8 in green.
It is going to be an 8. Very well done. Sarah, what's happening?
So these are numbers on a digital clock, and the number of lines that make up that digit is the same as the number
They're going up
They're
in
going
the
upwards
sequence.
from 4 to 7.
Exactly so. So it's not 4, 235. It's 4 and then 2, 3 or 5, each made up of 5 bars, then something with 6 bars, and the only number that would require 7 bars is an 8. Strigiforms, what would you like?
Horned Viper, please.
Horned Viper. What would come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
That's still Bogart, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know the significance of the 7.
Well, Bogart is 7. Next, please.
Oh, right.
Edward.
What's that?
Was it Henry the... It was Edward the First or something. Next, please.
This is the map.
Spice Girls.
9, 9. What's the next
Something
thing?
10.
I don't know. 7, 8, 9, something with 10. And I guess
2 seconds.
River Island 10.
And why would that be?
No idea.
I'm afraid you've not persuaded me that's a sequence, so another bonus opportunity for the Morporkians.
Decathlon 10.
Not it. Had the first clue been Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone,
So
would
it's
you
the
have got
first in
it?
a sequence of that number.
Oh,
That's
because
it.
there are 8 Edwards.
Doctor in the House is the first of 7 British comic films.
Oh, wow.
Longshanks was the first of 8 numbered King Edwards. Wannabe, first of 9 number 1 hits for the Spice Girls. So I wanted to know the first in a sequence of 10. For example, the 10 Commandments, you would know the first one is?
Thou shalt not...
Kill?
No.
Worship graven images, is it?
Thou shalt have no other gods but me is the first one. Back to you, More Porkins. What would you like?
Eye of Horus, please.
The Eye of Horus. What will come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
It's the real name of somebody. Tikrit is in Iraq.
Next, please.
So Mohammed Hamza is Syria.
Next, please.
So that's also Tikrit is very much in Iraq. Is it going to be Saddam Hussein? No, can't be because Queen Mohammed Hamza, surely not.
Who's the current head? Is it Hassan Khamenei? Is he right? No, he's
I
Iran.
think I'd say Saddam Hussein, but
2 seconds.
We're going to try Saddam Hussein.
Tell me something more.
Al-Tikriti? A Saddam Hussein?
That's it. What is this sequence?
Oh, it was on the pack of cards that was used.
A pack of playing cards was made during the time when the most wanted men were these people in Iraq, and they were assigned cards of the pack according to how dangerous they were. So Ibrahim Ahmad Adel Sata Mohammed Al-Tikriti was considered Jack level of threat, going up towards the Ace of Spades. So these weren't the top 4 because they went through all the suits, but in the suit of spades, the Ace was Saddam Hussein. Strigiforms, what would you like?
2 reads, please.
2 reads. What will come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
Next, please.
Atypical and unequivocal. So I think it's something with
With a 4-footed prefix.
yeah,
To make it not...
the opposite. So
Anti-
anti-union or something. Anti-establishment.
Anti-establishment.
For establishment. For establishment.
Why stop there? Why not for disestablishmentarianism? I would accept your answer, though, as an alternative. What's happening?
So in order to get the opposite of the word written, you need a prefix with that number of letters in it.
Exactly so. 1 letter to make atypical, 2 for unequivocal, 3 for dysfunctional. So we want anything you can put anti before to make its opposite, which is, frankly, it's most things. Establishment, disestablishmentarianism, lots of things like that. Back to you, More Porkins, for the last question of the round. Twisted Flax. What would come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
He's in Minister, isn't he? Is that his
Next,
final
please.
title? Oh no, nominated gravy. So I mean the rhyme.
Oh, is it in a rhyme?
Next, please.
Is the full stop got anything to do with it?
5, 7, 8, Are these misheard things?
Do you not think it's
Odin
See, is it like a
could be.
poem?
Something about a podium.
Yeah, I dropped over there. Yeah,
And died on a podium?
I'm afraid that is not the answer. Strigiforms, do you know?
And discovered sodium.
That's it. Precisely of having discovered sodium. But you've got the gist. What is this, do you know?
It's a poem.
It's not just a poem, it's a clerihew. So these were invented by Edward Clerihew Bentley, and this was the first one ever. And it was about Sir Humphrey Davy, who did discover sodium.
Okay,
and Edward Bentley did many more. And you know, this question has come to me with a clerihew of its own, which I think is rather lovely. Jack Whaley Cohen had no way of knowing if the questions he lovingly created would be admired or berated. Isn't that nice?
Lovely.
That means at the end of round 2, the More Porkins have 8 points, the Strigiforms have 8 points. Time for a horrible connecting wall now, and I'm going to treat you to that first, More Porkins. Would you like lion or water?
Lion, please.
2.5 minutes to have a go at the lion wall, starting now.
Bullet, Angus, Papillon, The Reavers,
Oh, wait,
Never
Papillon's a
Friends.
book and a film.
A film with Dustin Hoffman.
Yes. Are there restaurants in here like L'Escargot, maybe Corbière, Foinaven?
Yeah.
And I don't know what else would go in that group.
Maybe.
Yeah, or
Whenever.
the
So, Rule
Reavers.
the World is a
Reavers sounds
song
like-
by Take That. Are there other Take That songs in there? Like The Getaway? Or
Are there any word
nice.
have we got word ones like
sad
Angers
in-
and Arkle? Feel like they could
Anger,
be.
sad, no, never.
So Papillon's got pill in it. Here in the Reavers.
Bull is the start of Bullet.
Are the words for boats in some of them? No.
Arc,
Le
when I do
Mans-
Arquis.
is
I've not up to it.
reading somewhere. I think there might be
So
films
Rule
or
the World
books
is
in
a Take
here.
That song. Is there?
Maybe,
We're just
is the
gonna find
Getaway?
French things.
No.
No, that's
There'll be, because it's Nice
They're
or
pretty much all
Nice. It
French.
could be
Yeah.
something else, or it's a
Okay.
biscuit.
Yeah.
But you
Try
can
push
maybe
things.
the Getaway, the Saddle, Papillon, and maybe Rule the World. I'm thinking of film or
Bullets,
something.
yeah. I mean,
I mean, it's, yeah.
yeah.
All
I don't know what they would be.
Try Rule the World in that category.
Is Corbière a chef or? So L'escargot is the snail.
Yeah,
and
and
it's
it's also a
butterfly. They're both
restaurant.
French.
What are we thinking about Ben Nevis?
I mean, you could just try L'escargot, Ben Nevis, Le Mans.
what?
What's Foynaven?
Le Mans
Try Le
and-
Mans and Angers.
For what is this?
Don't know anagram. In the
Nancy
saddle.
Drew.
This, what is it? Watford Cat now?
Can
Yeah,
you try
Watford.
Nice, The Getaway, Rules the World, and
Nice. The Getaway Rules the World.
and The Saddle? Just. So Corbière chef.
Yeah.
Le Mans is a racetrack.
Maybe
It
try-
goes 24 hours, is it?
Yeah, maybe that's
Time's running out, and that's it, I'm afraid. But it's a horrible wall. I don't blame you at all. You can get points for the connections. Let's resolve the wall. OK, Papillon, Rule the World, and so on.
I want to say they're potentially Michelin-starred restaurants or restaurants.
Restaurants?
They are not restaurants. They are winners of the Grand National. My grandfather had a bet on Corbière. I know quite a bit about the Grand National. It's so hard because there's lots of horses. Arkle, for example, did not win the Grand National, but poker players know him because it's traditional in poker. If somebody says, I call, for other people to say, was a very good horse. And the next group, starting Arkle.
I think these are the mountains.
They are mountains in Scotland. And the next group, Bullet, the Reivers or the Rivers, and so on.
Are they Dustin Hoffman films?
Not it, I'm afraid. They are Steve McQueen films.
God, that was the only other actor I could think in that film.
And the next group, Angus, Gap, Nice, Nancy.
French towns?
They are the French towns and cities. I said it in a deliberately confusing way, but it's Angers, Gap, Nice, Nancy. So you didn't quite solve the wall, but you did find 2 connections, which is more points than most people will get on that kind of wall. Let's bring in their opponents now, give them a horrible wall and see how they like it. It's going to be the water wall for you, Strigiforms. 2.5 gruelling minutes to solve it, starting now.
Mamie Eisenhower, Lady Bird Johnson, their wives of presidents somewhere there, Hillary Clinton,
Hillary Clinton,
Nancy Reagan.
Nancy Reagan, Lady Bird Johnson, and
and Mamie. It's not
Other-
her.
others?
There's another wife of a president somewhere, unless they're not wives of
that's probably
presidents
the-
at all.
yeah.
But Hillary Messner, these are climbers. Hillary Messner, Whymper at the bottom, he is a climber, and
Bess.
Try, no. But yeah, well, right, good. Mamie Eisenhower, Nancy Reagan, Lady Bird Johnson, and Try Bess. Good.
Right. Do we know what Throg's Neck is? No.
Well, Brooklyn, Queensborough, Manhattan, and Throg's Neck
maybe they're bridges.
could be bridges.
Or George Washington as well.
George Washington Bridge. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So Washington, Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Throg's Neck. Possibly is a bridge.
No, hang on, what about Queensborough?
Is that the bridge?
Well, I think it might be, but what,
Okay.
let's just see
So
if
the
we
others-
can work out the other one.
Is it a word one?
Yeah, I was just wondering about that.
Mary Queen of Scots, cousins, Byzantium, Anti in the middle.
Were they? Sorry, which were the bridges again?
So George Washington, Manhattan, Brooklyn, and possibly Throg's Neck or
I think
Queensborough.
Queensborough, but I may be wrong.
Okay, so Byzantium, Throg's Neck, Mary Queen of Scots, Little Women. Shall we try the bridges?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brooklyn and Queensborough?
yeah.
Should we go for it?
Yeah.
Right, so try with Throg's Neck. Shall we?
Go on.
No?
No,
Okay.
it's So we've only got one left.
Maybe it's Manhattan, Queensborough,
10 seconds.
Brooklyn, and Throg's Neck.
Try.
Nope, that's your 3 lives. The wall has frozen, but very well done for finding 2 groups. And what are the connections? Messner, Hillary, and so on?
They are climbers.
They are climbers or mountaineers, quite right. And the next group, Bess, Mamie, and so on?
First ladies.
Yeah.
That's right. Bess Truman, that was. Met Harry Truman when they were 5 years old at Sunday school. And you can still get points for the connections the groups didn't find. So let's resolve the wall. There we go. George Washington, Manhattan, Throgs Neck, and so on.
So they must be the bridges.
They are the bridges. Do you know where they are?
New York.
In New York.
they're
Bridges in New York, quite right.
Yeah.
And the last group, Mary Queen of Scots, Brooklyn, Byzantium, Little Women.
Colm Toybean.
Are they films starring a common actress?
Saoirse Ronan.
Unfortunately,
Saoirse Ronan. Oh no!
Your captain has already offered Colm Toybean, so I'm afraid that's not the right answer. Yes, though, Joshua, and what would you have guessed?
Yeah, Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan.
They are films starring Saoirse Ronan. Unlucky. But you found 2 groups. You gave me 3 connections. That is a total of 5 points. Let's see what that does to the overall scores. The Morporkians have 10 points. The Strigiforms have 13. Missing vowels time now, teams. We are voweling for a place in the final. Good luck, all of you. Fingers on buzzers. I can tell you that the first group of clues all started in Kent. Don't know this one. Too late, I'm afraid. I started giving the answer, which is Caesar's invasion of Britain. Next clue. Morporkians?
COVID variant?
Alpha variant, correct. Morporkians?
The Channel Tunnel.
Yes, it does. Morporkians?
Great Expectations.
Well done. Next category, reality TV shows merged with songs. Morporkians?
Made in Chelsea Dagger.
Yes, it is. Strigiforms?
Love Island's in the Stream.
Well done. Porks?
Celebrity Big Brothers in Arms.
Yes, it is. Strigiforms?
Dancing on Ice, Ice Baby.
Yes, indeed. Next category, artists and subjects they painted at least 30 times. Morporkians?
Andy Warhol and Soup Cans.
Correct. Porks? Too long, I'm afraid you must lose a point. Strigiforms, do you know?
Edgar Degas and Ballerinas.
Yes, it is. And that was the last clue because it's the end of the quiz. And looking at the final scores, it is a very close one, reflecting the strengths of both these excellent teams. But the winners and through to the final with 16 points are the Strigiforms. Even better news for you, Morporkians. With 15 points, you make the 3rd place playoffs. Many congratulations to you. I can't wait for that crucial match. And your trivia will follow straight after. Very well played. Thank you all for coming along. And thank you for sticking with us during this very difficult semi-final. I'm off to unwind with a trip to the farmer's market. I find nothing relaxes me after a really tough quiz like paying £9 for a marrow. Good night.